What do you do with your teenager who is feeling like crap? They feel anxious, they feel depressed, maybe you're considering medications, maybe they have acne, maybe they have PMS, they don't feel well. And you know, because you've been listening to me, that they need to stop eating the sugar, they need to eat better foods. There's a gut-brain connection, we need to take care of their gut. You get all of that, but your kid won't have any of it. They don't want to do it. They don't want to change. They shut you out. They're like, oh, back off. I don't want to take the supplements. I don't want to do the thing. What do you do? Okay, so I'm going to give you some tips because the fact is, if you have a teenager and you want to do this work, they need to be involved. It's their body, their choices. They need to know what's going on. And actually, it's a really, really exciting time to do this work because it offers us a window of opportunity to help our kids understand their bodies. And when they start to learn about their bodies, they never unlearn that. Okay, so here's what you do. First of all, you consider what state they're in. Do they feel terrible? Or are things going really well? Those are two great times to have this conversation with your kids. And I want to shout out to my good friend, Jen Pike. We talked about this in our podcast episode that we did about nourishing teen hormones, episode 13, season 1 of the Feeding Families podcast. So here's the hot tip. When your child is feeling terrible, it is not a good time to teach them. It is not a good time to blame them. Oh, you've got to stop eating the sugar. You got to do this stuff. You're making self-destructive choices. If they feel terrible, they will not receive that well. That is a great time to ask them questions. How do you feel? Are you interested in maybe feeling a little bit differently? Can we look at some things? Get curious with them. You might know all of the things, but now is not the time to teach them. Now is the time to ask them questions to see if you can open up opportunity for collaboration. The second great time to talk about this work is when they're feeling really good. Maybe they're an athlete and they just did really well in a tournament. Maybe they're doing really well academically. Maybe they're doing really well socially. Maybe their skin is clear for the first time in a little while. First, always get curious. I've noticed you're doing really well and it's so awesome to see. Second, what do you think that is? I don't know. Introduce the 5 core nourishment need model that we use. Because if they are doing those 5 things, they are probably feeling well. You can highlight them, you can call attention to them. I will link to a post that I talk about it, or you can drop me a DM and I will send it to you. When we do these 5 things, we feel well. So if we highlight them for our kids and say, look, because you're drinking enough water, because you stopped with the processed foods, just because you stopped with the sugar, you're going to bed earlier because you put your phone away. We call attention to those things. So when they stop doing them, remember when you were doing really well? What are we not doing now that we were doing then?